G'day, Stephen Carey from offthegridnoz.com. I'm going to say yet again, alright, because I normally say again, but I think yet again's better. Nice, not a bad Thursday afternoon. Bit of an update on what's been going on. Whilst we sit here, look at Jess. Jess, yes, Jess is flat out. And the cat, where are you, cat? Cat's over, oh, cat's wandered off. Alright, anyway, we're just sitting out in the outdoor kitchen. Want to do a bit of an update on a few things that have been happening through the week. And some things that might be of interest to a couple of groups that we don't have a great deal to deal with, but I don't know whether you've been following our faceplant pages. We're looking and going to go down the road of building some alternative methods of survival, which are commonly called these days tiny houses. This whole issue actually has been going on for weeks, and we put up a couple of posts that I've now pulled down because we had a few, let's say, we had some information come our way that it seriously isn't that readily available. I know that it's probably out there, but it's seriously not readily available. Our plan, as far as people looking to go tiny house and what we may be able to provide for them, is very, very connected to off-grid. Hence the reason for the video. I know, studying the obvious, doesn't that shit you? But yeah, anyway, the reason for this video is, at the moment, we've had a bit of current information from local shires. Now, we're in Victoria, we're in the Central Highlands. We've had contact with a couple of the abutting shires. I wouldn't dare contact the shire that we're within because I don't really need to stick my face in their face. But yeah, look, we've contacted a few shires and a few issues have popped up as far as tiny houses, transportables, mobile homes, all that stuff goes. Now, we were originally going to do just pretty much a tiny home on temporary wheels, thinking, like most people, that if it's on wheels and it's mobile, it complies to shire regulations to do with caravans, and that all's well. Well, that is one component, and I'm here to tell you, it may be. I've looked at Tiny House Australia and a few of our mates. This information isn't very clear. It's certainly not put up in a manner that would be obvious to most people. And the bottom line is, listening to Neil Young, I know, look at the sun coming down, and I'm sitting here waffling this shit. Kerry, am I waffling?
Never, honey.
No. Anyway, look, I'm really trying to stay serious here, right? The bottom line with this tiny house thing, you may build your own chassis. All right, I'm going to go through this very quickly. Can't drag this out for like an hour. No one will watch it. Tiny homes, you buy a chassis, you build a chassis. Now, there are two different things. You buy a chassis, it comes with a VIN plate, which is, what most people with a reasonable checkbook would do. You've got a VIN plate which actually IDs the chassis as being structurally sound and all of that stuff. If you build your own, what you're up against is the tiny home build itself is one thing, and where you plant it is another. Now, as with most tiny homes, the common thinking is that if it's on wheels, you can put it on your property and it's classed as a caravan, and Bob's your uncle and you live there for 6 months at a time and you don't tell the council squat. Yeah, all the stuff, all the shit to dodge the rules. And that's great. So it doesn't matter whether you're on your own property or you're in a commune and you've built this, maybe you've bought a container home kit and you've just thrown a few wheels under it to make it look like a caravan. Well, after investigations this week, which has brought a lot of our thinking unravelled, not kiboshed, kiboshed, that's a good word, but it's brought it a bit unravelled, because what we've found out in Victoria is not only do the shires require a certificate that states that what you're living in temporarily on your property is registered as a caravan, they won't recognise a trailer. They recognise a trailer, which is probably the sub-chassis you have, as a trailer. And that trailer would need to be registered before they will actually accept it. So what we've got here is you build your own tiny home on a chassis that you may have dragged up. It hasn't got a current VIN plate on it, but you put your beautiful tiny home on it, and you plonk it on your ground, and the council come along, and what they do is they want a certificate of registration, registering this thing as a caravan. Right, herein comes the second part. After discussions with the Vic Roads, and they are very vague on this, I got to tell you. They have on the Vic Roads website, VicGov website, VB1. Just type in VB1. It's a set of regulations to do with trailers and caravans. Lots of stuff. It's got the standard issue stuff. You can't put a door in your tiny home that opens onto the road. It's got to have lights. It's got to have. There's a lot of stuff. Just read it. I mean, there are a few requirements that really just make it that your tiny home has roadworthy status. All right. But what you might have is a VIN chassis with no registration, or at the minimum trailer registration. That is not caravan registration. To qualify for caravan registration, you need to refer back to the VB1 regulations, which state what you have to have, and they include things like, you know, habitable quarters, like a bed and stuff. Read it. VB1, just read it. But anyway, as far as we were concerned, we put up originally an offer to build what we thought were going to be virtually unregistered but on wheels transportable style tiny homes, and we could do that, but we would be breaking even more laws, and I break enough laws. I'm not going into details, but we push the threshold in this land of off the grid. So we've had to modify that, and we have another plan which I'll put in another video, which doesn't exclude what I intended to do to start with, but it does change it somewhat, because I'm not prepared to sell something to somebody that they put on their block that they think is a caravan or a tiny home without the appropriate certification or the ability to register, so that the council doesn't come along and kick them off because the thing is only either not registered, just because it's got wheels under it. If it's not registered, and it certainly is not registered as a caravan, they will treat you like a piece of dirt. Bottom line. So, you've got to love this Neil Young. Lots of the old guys, you probably, and ladies. Neil Young's beautiful music on a sunny afternoon. But yeah, that's the bottom line. We've pulled the post down from Faceplant, if you haven't noticed. If you haven't, well, that's probably okay. We had plenty of inquiries, lots of positivity, but I was a bit shocked to see that the details to do with building your own tiny home are not made super clear. They probably are, and maybe Darren and Lisa will actually pull me up on this, but I've checked their Faceplant page out and a few other bits and pieces, and the details to do with the actual build on these things and compliance, and that's what I'm going to name this video, compliance. The details on that, and not that I'm super compliant, but like I said, if we were going to sell these things, I would really rather not sell something to somebody well built or otherwise, fitted out or otherwise, that got them into the shit. Alright? I'm happy to be in the shit. A lot of people aren't happy to be in the shit. And this video is more to the people who maybe are going to build their own tiny home, or their own transportable, just like the container people, just like the shed dwellers, all the radical, more like, radical's a bit of a rough word. I like being called a radical, but for those people who are a little bit unorthodox, let's say, I was not prepared to actually take them places and offer things that would cause them to be even more radical. I know, I chuckle. I'm very serious, but I mean, I gotta laugh. I mean, shit. If you can't laugh, don't get up in the fucking... I said it. Shit. Don't get up in the freaking morning. Do I say it, Kerry?
Always.
Always. Come on.
Come on.
I don't say it always.
No.
No, I do try. Am I trying?
Very trying.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to cut it short, and this is where I go for another 5 minutes, alright? You know the drill. Come on, it wouldn't be a Stephen Carey from offthegridnoz.com video that I said I'm going to cut it short without going for another 5 minutes, alright? Shit! You must have a grip by now. Or you've used your bandwidth up and hate our guts. It's alright. This is directed at the off-gridders thinking of mobile home, transportable, tiny house. Throwing a set of wheels under it to make it look like a caravan won't cut the mustard, according to the authorities, alright? Now, we've all got our bows and arrows, and we can all stick pins in our dolls, and if you're really bad, you'll do something worse, but we're trying to avoid that. So what our new plan is we're going to try and put something together a little bit more compliant. We'll still leave the option for people to do their own thing with what we offer, but what we offer won't put them in frickin' jail. I haven't been to jail, have I?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Hey, 3 hots, they call it 3 hots and a cot, Kerry.
Oh, I know, and those little holiday camps, they look pretty cool.
I know. We actually have had
Fantasies.
fantasies about 3 hots and a cot. Yeah. Anyway, we don't want to put people that we were going to offer our little buildings to in jeopardy, any further jeopardy than they might be in. So it's not fully kiboshed. Gotta love that word. But it is and will be modified to the point where hopefully we will be able to provide something that won't cause people more problems, alright? And you really should look into this. The difference between, and I'm going to end it with this, it's really a clear sort of a statement. You need to look into the difference between what the RTA, which is the registration people, and what the councils, the shires, deem to be a trailer, a plain old trailer, or a caravan. 2 different animals. And if you think you can live in a trailer with no registration without them dragging your ass away because you don't comply to a caravan, it's just like you drop your container there and you think, oh great, I'm going to live in me freaking container now. Like the tone. Yeah, I'm going to live in me container now. Everything will be right. Well, it'll be right for about 5 seconds till you get caught. And then it's not right. It's only right till it isn't, right? And with containers and a lot of shed conversions and things that are, let's say, not by the book, things can go wrong very quickly. So, I think it was 5 minutes ago I said I was going to shut this down. So, are we ready to shut down yet?
Yeah, because this is part 1 of the tiny house video series.
That's right. We are going to, or at least I'm going to try, and I know Darren and Lisa from
Tiny Houses Australia.
Tiny House Australia, yes. They do a bloody good job. They promote this stuff everywhere. But I'm a builder. I'm a licensed builder. I'm a licensed plumber. I can actually build these things, have the knowledge, have the skill, have the registration, actually do a lot of the work on them. But I really don't want to put people in a position where they aren't completely aware of what they're doing. And I'd like people to understand that singing Kumbaya and going tiny houses till you're blue in the face is one thing. But actually understanding where that will get you when you plonk it on a piece of land and go to the council officer that walks up with his little notepad. And yeah, I've given the single finger to a few authorities, you know. And giving the single finger to a council authority and you're sitting on a tiny home that's beautiful that you've built and spent all this time and effort on and has no registration, or it isn't registerable because it's not roadworthy, or it's not registered as a caravan, is going to have you wind up fighting an argument that you will more than likely, from what I have researched in the last 7 days, in a position where you will probably at least be uncomfortable with. We'll go with full-blown freaking regret. And our little project to put these things together is going to try to get by that a little bit and try to help people, not only help them put a roof over their head, but help them understand the rules. And I'm going to do some more research, and I'll probably get pulled up by the tiny house community and go, yeah, this stuff's all available everywhere. Well, from what I've seen, it's not available clearly. And I mean clearly, right on the front friggin' page. Now, you might buy an $8,000 rolling chassis registered as a trailer. Once you put a habitable space on it, it actually becomes a caravan. And yes, you can get a temporary permit and tow it down the road, put it on your block of land, and when the Shire comes in, the registration certificate says trailer. It does not say caravan, which means you are not only not habiting temporarily in a caravan, you are actually living on a trailer. And hey, look at that, as bad as a tin shed or a bloody container without the permit, alright? Now, cheers from me. Go listen to some more Neil Young. Have another... Kerry, are you drinking distilled water?
No.
Oh, look at that. That's empty.
It's empty.
Yeah, Kerry's knocked her distilled water off. Beautiful afternoon in central Victoria. About 15 degrees today. Frickin' heat wave. I'm going to do an update on this, so I'll leave it at that. Cheers from Steve and Kerry from offthegridnoise.com. No fire pit going. No pizza that won't freaking kill you.
And not having quiche that won't kill you.
Oh, what are we having, babe?
Quiche that won't kill you.
We are having quiche, are we? I thought you might have kibosh that.
No, we're having quiche.
Kibosh is the word of the day.
We're having vegetable quiche.
Vegetable quiche. I like the sound of that. Did you have fun doing your freebie work today?
Oh, I love doing the volunteer work.
You were a busy girl.
Oh, I was a busy girl, yes.
Kerry's a bit fractured from her volunteer work. So cheers from us. Beautiful day. Hope your day was good. Hope it was positive. Hope you're thinking in the right direction. And if you think we've thrown the whole building of small dwellings, tiny houses, whatever you want to call them, totally out the window, you're wrong. But we had to pull a pin on a lot of... We were buried in discussions about it. And really we need to get a few details sorted out, so we can actually put this up in a form that won't cause people more problems, alright? And I wish this information was more freely available in the tiny house community, because I see a lot of people put posts up, they've got a trailer they're going to convert or refurb, and unless that damn thing is compliant, VIN plated and stamped and re-registered as a caravan, that thing might as well sit in your bloody backyard of your urban block, because that's about as good as what it's going to be to you. Do not think you can tow it down the road. Do not think you can live in it without the Shire coming in. Do not think of any of the above unless it is registered, finished, certified by you, taken to the RTA and given the certification of a caravan. Then the Shire will come in and go, well, you can only live here for a few weeks in your caravan, and you can give them the thumb and tell them you're going to go next week, and you can do all the stuff, all the other stuff. That's all good. I'll leave it at that. Cheers, Mus. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. We're out for now. Hope your day was good. Bye.